Sup, everybody? Welcome to Baddington's movie review. The first time I'm ever going to make a movie review, and probably the last time, because there's not really any reason to make movie reviews on my channel. But considering I saw people were interested in seeing my thoughts, I thought I'd make a review on the movie. But you may be asking yourself, it's been 2 weeks already since the movie came out. Everyone else has released a review. Everyone else has gathered their thoughts. So why are you releasing your review so late? There's a couple reasons. One, because, well, you know, I was afraid. I was afraid to actually share my thoughts at all about the movie because, I don't know, I don't feel like my opinion would be respected. I don't think anyone should really care what I have to say, especially if they're happy with what they have to say about the movie, if they like it, or if they don't like it. I was also afraid that if I did share that, you know, if it's a hot take and wasn't aware, that I would be crucified on a cross. Like I would be mutilated in the comments for just having thoughts in general. But I shouldn't think that way because I've been seeing a change in the community that's been very open and caring for others' opinions, being just respectful in general. I've seen a lot of that in my comments lately. People are just generally respectful. So I don't know why I have anything to fear. You guys are very, very mature and respectful. Granted, not everyone is. I know there's some people that, you know, we can think of. We can probably think of one person that's not quite respectful with opinions. But the majority has been respectful. And so you know what? I shouldn't have anything to fear. But that was one of the reasons. The second reason is that I wanted to make sure that my opinion was solidified. So I watched it again yesterday and made some notes, and I wanted to really be sure that the opinions I had at first are still the same opinions that I had after watching it again. And there were some changes. I don't think that some of the changes were good and bad. I think it's been a real mix. It's been a real 50-50 going back on opinions and stuff. So that was one of the reasons. Also scheduling and everything that's been going on and behind the scenes. But anyways, before we get into the review, I'd like to announce a new t-shirt on the Baddington store. A Halloween-themed Harmony and Horror t-shirt featuring Jack O'Henry. And I can already see you guys kind of being confused. Why am I doing Halloween when Halloween was already passed? And listen, with the scheduling that I've had, with what I've had to go through, and I'm just lucky that I even got to go through with this month, just bear with me, please. Think of it as a fall-autumn shirt, okay? Bear with me, please. But yes, it's in this nice, beautiful, vintage Halloween comic aesthetic, and it wouldn't have been possible without my great friend, Crazy Dave. We worked on it together. He's one of my 2D artists on the production for my Five Nights at Freddy's short film that we're working on. So, if you're interested in supporting Dave and his amazing artwork, as well as the other amazing artists on the production team, go ahead and get yourself a Halloween Henry t-shirt. There's also going to be another shirt announced later on, and they're all limited edition, so make sure that you get them before Thanksgiving. Bear with me, again, bear with me, okay? It can be a Thanksgiving shirt. Bear with me. Get yourself a shirt from the Baddington store, and make sure to get 5% off. 5% off on the limited edition shirts by using the code SPOOKY with an exclamation point. So that's crowdmade.com/collections/Baddington. Find the Halloween shirts and type in the promo code SPOOKY with an exclamation point. And support Dave, support the rest of my amazing team. I love them so much. And that's pretty much it. That's all I have to say. Thank you for bearing with me. And now on to the review. So for starters, I'm just going to be completely honest. So hear me out. I think the movie, as a movie, I think it's a 5.5 out of 10 in terms of movie. I did have fun. I did have fun watching it. There's a lot of fun moments and a lot of stuff that I laughed at. I had a good time with friends laughing at probably stuff that I shouldn't have been laughing at. Some scenes that I was probably supposed to be taking seriously, but I couldn't take seriously. I think there's a lot of great scenes. There's a lot of great moments. There's a lot of cool shots. There's a lot of great color grading. There's a lot of great special effects. There's a lot of great practical effects. There's a lot of great soundtracks. Like that first intro soundtrack, the la 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 la. That's I like that. I remember when I first heard that, I leaned in and I was just like bobbing my head when listening to it because it's a pretty good soundtrack. So I do like a lot of things about the movie, and I do think the majority of the pros outweigh the cons. But I think it's like it only outweighs it by 10%. You know what I mean? Like it's 60% good and 40% not good, or at least in my opinion, it's not good. And I mean, as a movie, like not looking at it as just a fan, as a movie, me being like a filmmaker and I want to study film and I have been studying like writing and everything like that, improving upon myself. That kind of doesn't go well when you're supposed to have fun just watching a movie. Because as a filmmaker, you end up noticing a lot of things that could have been written better, done better. So that's just me being critical as a filmmaker. Just I critique based off of what I see as a film perspective, not so much as just a casual viewer. So that, I don't think I have much more of a say than any other person that isn't a filmmaker, but that may contribute as to why I am as critical as I am going to be. I don't think it's a bad movie. I mean, I had fun watching it. Like I said, there's a lot of great things to say about it. I just don't think it's a good movie. And that's okay. And that's perfectly fine. It is perfectly fine to like an okay movie. It is perfectly fine. Because consider this before you start saying that, no, it's the best movie this year. It's the best movie. How can you say that? How can you say it's 5.5, 3 stars? How can you say that? Before you say that, I'm someone who really, really enjoyed the Andrew Garfield Amazing Spider-Man movies. Right? So think about that. That's considered the worst Spider-Man live action adaptation out of the 3 that we have existing, and I enjoyed it because I enjoyed it for what it had to offer. Sure, that doesn't mean that I ignore any of the critiques about it. That doesn't mean I ignore any of the feedback about it, saying that, there's a lot of things that they could have improved, like Electro's design, and maybe cut down on how many villains there were, too many story plots mixing in. Maybe there was just a lot of design choices, like the first suit that he wore looking ugly. That doesn't mean that anything that people say about the movie and why they think is bad is invalid, because I look at those points and the feedback that they talk about, the critiques, and I think, yeah, if those changes were put in, yeah, it probably would have been an even better movie. But as someone who watched it, and I'm aware of all those little things, they didn't affect me because I enjoyed it for what it had to offer. So if you're someone who enjoyed what the Five Nights at Freddy's movie had to offer, then that's perfectly fine. Even if it's an okay movie, even if it's like completely reasonable for why the critics are rating it the way it is, even though I think they need to change their system because there's obviously something not happening right. What is that? Is that a truck outside? But yes, in retrospective, it's just like it's okay to like a movie that's in reality okay. It's like it's not the worst movie, but it's not the best. You know what I mean? And to me, Five Nights at Freddy's the movie wasn't the best. It had some things that I think could have been changed. And that's has pretty much been my spoiler free version of the review, which is just a three stars, 5.5 out of 10 points. It's an okay movie. On to things that are more spoiler related. What I don't like, and this is me as a fan, I don't like that we are now entering the 3rd iteration of the Five Nights at Freddy's story. Because we have the game lore, we have the book lore, and then we have the movie lore, which the movie lore seems to be a combination of both the game and the book. And I think that's kind of bad, because I don't think they mix well. Because in my mind, when I first heard that the movie was going to be made, way back when, and then when we started seeing like production pick up again, I'm thinking to myself, as someone who followed the lore of the first game, or at least for as much as I know, that the movie was going to help us wrap up old questions and give us a lot more answers as to what was going on in those first couple of games, since the movie's based on the first game, or at least I'd like to imagine. It's the classic models, it's the 1993 location, right? Even though the movie takes place in 2000. It's something that kind of sucks when you follow a story, a mystery, for so long and you're hoping to get answers, but you leave with more questions than answers. And on top of that, it doesn't even matter because nothing that you had questions about in the games matter to the movie. If you have questions about the games, oh well. Oh well. I guess you're not going to get an answer because, well, we're entering a new iteration of the story in the movie. So forget about the games. Follow the movie. That kind of sucks that I have to say. Forget about the games and now turn everything that you know mixed around, and now you have the movie, and now focus on answering questions in the movie. I don't think that translates well into film. I don't think the mystery and the misdirection and the loose ends, the plot holes, or not plot holes, there are some, but we're not going to get into that. Overall mystery that we used to have in just the games and sometimes in the books, I don't think that translates well into film. You know what I mean? Like maybe into a show, but for a film, like you end up with a bad film because what's for FNAF fans, oh, this is a film and it's got tons of questions. It's our job to figure out the answers. To anyone that isn't that even that big of a fan and just wants to go to watch it, I'm sure they can walk away and have fun. But there's just a lot of questions that end up looking like bad writing, which again is probably why the critics have the opinions that they have, even though I think they're a bit too critical. But I mean, that's kind of their job. They're still pretty critical. I mean, did you see this Super Mario movie? Can you believe those guys can't have fun? Am I right? My girlfriend watched it. She's not a fan, and she had fun. She actually likes the movie. She likes the eeriness of it. She likes it in the way that I or any early FNAF fan first started to like the games. Like, there's not a whole lot of to sink your teeth into, but you like it because of what it showed. And I was fascinated by that because as someone who isn't a fan of the series, they walked away liking it. That's cool. I think that's cool. But me personally, I couldn't like it. I didn't like the disconnection from the games. I get if you have to change a couple things around, but considering we knew nothing about Mike Schmidt, we knew nothing about the Schmidt family. Nothing. Not a single thing about the name Schmidt other than it could have been a possible alias to Michael Afton. And then we have William Afton, who has a daughter named Vanessa. Vanessa as in security breach Vanessa? We'll never know because there's already two Mikes. Who's to say there's going to be two Vanessas? But they're related to Afton. Okay, but Afton already had a family. William Afton had Michael Afton, a son, a crying child Afton, Evan Afton, I don't know. We haven't found a name for him, have we? Crying child Afton, other son, and Elizabeth Afton, daughter. 3 children right there, as well as a missing or absent mother Afton. So that already is like confusing me and messing with me. The fact that I have to rethink the entire lore of FNAF just to watch and enjoy this movie. Afton now has a daughter. No sign of any other children. It's like, where the hell did Vanessa come from? I couldn't enjoy that because that kept rolling through my head. It's like, what is she doing? What is the point of Vanessa? Why is she related to Afton now? Why are we now knowing that Afton had a daughter and completely ignoring all the other children that he had? Like, I gotta be honest, I don't like Vanessa's character. Yeah, I don't like Vanessa's character. But if I had to break it down based off of like chronological order of the movie, let's see. First things first, Mike Schmidt. What we get introduced to is that he purposely has dreams. He has a poster of Nebraska to kind of like give a visual. He has sounds of the forest to give an auditory, whatever, audio sounds, man. He has sleeping pills to make sure he goes to sleep. And all that to make sure that when he goes to sleep at night, he has the dream of when Garrett, his younger brother, went missing or was taken, because he has a book on dream theory, which when I first saw that, I was like, oh my god, I can't believe they included dream theory. But you know what? After watching it again, I actually like that inclusion. I like how important that kind of like Easter egg feels now, because you incorporated an entire like little Easter egg into something that's more of a story element. He's got a job as a security guard at a mall. I think the mall's cool. I think him having a job there is cool. I think the possibility of, what was it, Jeremiah Fitzgerald? Like, I know it's like Jeremy, but well, I don't know where did I get that from? Someone told me it was Jeremiah, which may be true. But for him to be another security guard in the FNAF universe, and he's interacting with Mike Schmidt, that's pretty cool. And he's talking about Dream Theory with him. I think that's pretty cool. Now there is the rainbow, Chica's Magic Rainbow. Not gonna lie, a lot of the Easter eggs that are just Easter eggs. When you add Easter eggs that have zero meaning, but you also want your audience to figure a story out or figure out plot on their own by adding in clues, doesn't that defeat the purpose? Like, so who's to say some clues are useless and who's to say some are important? And that's where I want to fault Scott in this, because Scott's been known to do that, add Easter eggs that are purely Easter eggs and then Easter eggs that have lore implications. Granted, I don't think the Magic Rainbow has any lore significance, but I just think it's kind of like, if you're going to include an Easter egg, don't make the other Easter eggs have lore significance. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that causes your fans, people who have like dug into the lore and wasted so much time figuring out the lore, only for some Easter eggs to have meaning and some not. That's the equivalent of like, the books are canon, but not really. That's frustrating. And you know what? I'm glad I'm not a theorist that's coming up with the lore, because I would not be able to live with that. I can't live with some Easter eggs having meaning and others not. Or some clues being left in there for no reason other than fan service, and some clues actually having purpose, but we'll never know the difference between them because there is nothing to tell the difference between them. That's what's kind of annoying. But whatever, I'm not a theorist, so I personally don't have to worry about it. One thing I don't like is the chair. I don't like the murder chair. I don't like, because here's the thing, right? Let's say the night guard position is a facade. It's a trap. They're purposely being hired so that way they can be killed in this pizzeria, and no one would know because it's abandoned and they're the only ones there. But what are the things that kill them? The animatronics. So then, if the animatronics is responsible for killing the night guard or anyone that's supposed to be there in their death trap, what's the point of the chair? You can argue that the chair is meant to represent or be an iteration, symbolic of when you lose in the first game and you get stuffed into a suit. Right? So let's say that there is no stuffing of a suit because they don't have any suits to stuff you in. So that's why they made this saw contraption death machine, and you're getting stuffed in a suit because the Freddy mask is coming out and it kills you. Maybe like it's supposed to be like a parallel of that, or the movie's adaptation of being stuffed, or when you get killed during the night in Five Nights at Freddy's, the game. But then you have to retract that statement completely, because there is spare suits to be stuffed in. So why wasn't he stuffed in a suit? The chair is cool. Don't get me wrong. It's a cool trap. It's a cool way to like kill somebody. We already know who made the chair, but what's the point of the chair if you're just going to use the animatronics to kill them? And then stuff them in a suit. What's the point of the chair? You know what I mean? What? I don't get it. I don't get it. The animatronics are capable of killing, and you put them in chair to kill them. Foxy caught that guy, so why didn't he just kill him? Right then and there. Why did he have to put him through the trap chair? And doesn't that kind of like make the ghosts a bit suspicious as to the chair? Like, guys, I'm Freddy Fazbear. We can kill this guy, but Mr. Yellow Bunny, this chair is a little much. What's the point of the chair? Why? We can kill them. Why can't we just kill them? Why do we have to put them in the chair? Huh. That's weird to me. That's weird. The chair is weird. It's a cool concept. Don't get me wrong. But the way that the writing makes it seem useless. It makes it seem a bit redundant to have a murder chair when the animatronics can kill and stuff in a suit because they have spare suits. It's a bit redundant. I don't know if anyone else really cares. I know I'm probably thinking too much into that, but that's one of the things that I thought needed a bit more fleshing out in terms of writing, because I know they wanted to probably include that chair. They thought, oh, this is such a cool idea. I think we should put the chair, this murder trap chair that you can't escape and it just claws your face and it's a Freddy mask. I think they all agreed that was a cool idea, but they had no way of writing it in so that way it wouldn't make stuffing of the suit or the animatronics killing you look useless. You know? Whatever. Anyways, I think every scene that doesn't include the animatronics, I liked. Not gonna lie. Well, I can't say that because I do like the break-in scene where the goons, they break in to kind of make Michael look bad and they even steal stuff while they're at it. I like everything about those scenes that involve the animatronics. I like everything about that. I like everything that has to do with Mike and Abby's relationship. I like the dynamic between them and the evil aunt that smells like cigarettes. I like Doug. Everyone likes Doug. Everyone likes Doug. Doug is funny. Doug is cool. Doug is the guy. He is him. And I'm ashamed he never. It's a shame he never got his appetizers. You know what I mean? But Doug is great. I love the dynamic of like that Mike even thinks he's not fit to take care of Abby, but he's going to because the aunt is even worse and she's only in it for the money. I like that. I like that story a lot. That's good. Good writing on that. I like that. I do think it got really weird when the babysitter got involved. Thinking about it like this, maybe she did get hired by Mike and was initially being paid, but he couldn't keep a job for the life of him. So eventually, like, maybe there was a point where the aunt noticed that Mike had a babysitter, contacted the babysitter, and was like, hey, I will pay you a lot of money if you can find evidence that he's, like, a terrible guy. I can only like that if there's no sign that the babysitter cares for Mike or Abby at all. Like, maybe if it was a snotty... Does someone have a leaf blower? I think it's a bit odd. I would have made the babysitter a little bit more bratty, like a brat, like just overall a little bit selfish, not too selfish. Like obviously they're willing to put up with Mike, and obviously they're willing to like, you know, like, hey, did you have a good day? Okay, I'm gonna leave now. Like obviously in it for the money, even though they have like obviously they care a little bit because they don't want to seem like an awful person. Like don't write a bad I mean not a bad character. Don't write an evil character as a babysitter, but make them a likable, selfish character. Someone, I mean, obviously they got the ring thing going on. The scene where they're like, I wish someone would buy me a ring. But that's more like a personality thing. That's more just like, I like rings. She had a ton of rings on her finger, and she wants someone to buy her a ring. I think that's funny. But she obviously cares about Mike. To the point where it's almost like a fling thing. It's almost like she likes Mike, you know? And she likes Abby. But then that ruins it. I guess that's the good reason why the brother's there. The brother is there because he's in on the plan. He don't like Mike, and he want that money. And Maxine's probably just like, she's just has to go along with it because she wants money too. But also because she's just going along with her brother. But I feel like that doesn't work, especially if you're gonna kill off the character. You make us like a character, but they didn't deserve what they got, and that kind of feels unsatisfying. There have been tons of times in horror movies, cliches, where a likable character is at the wrong place at the wrong time, and they get killed, and we feel bad for that. But in this case, it's even more unsatisfying. There's no incentive for her to, like, get involved in any of it. I can be fine with her brother being involved, and he got the scoop on this because of being related to the babysitter, as the brother to the babysitter. I think if he's involved, that's fine. But having the babysitter involved, the only reason they had her involved is because they needed a way to get rid of her, so that way Mike would have to take Abby to the pizzeria. Which I think is still redundant, because you can say if you get rid of the babysitter, Mike has no reason to ever take Abby to the pizzeria and interact with the animatronics, but she kind of already interacts with them because she interacts with their ghosts because their ghosts can astro project into somebody's house. Why? Why isn't there stories about other kids and them seeing these ghost kids? Why they can extend their ghosts beyond the pizzeria? Why the hell are they in the pizzeria? Bruh, you're a free ghost. Go do something else other than stick in this stinky abandoned pizzeria. Oh, because their bodies are inside the suit, so you gotta go with the animatronic. Golden Freddy took a cab! I don't know. There's a lot of weird things. Like, that if you rewrite it, you end up falling into more, like, plot holes. And then you end up accepting what happens in the movie. I don't like that in terms of writing. I don't like that I have to accept what happens and suspend my disbelief over bad writing. Granted, if I would... I mean, why do I keep saying granted? I need to stop saying granted. Stop saying granted, stupid. Okay? I can't be saying that's bad writing without following it up with an alternative as to what would have probably made the story better. Let's see. I'll hold on a second. Let's see. I think... with a little thought, they could have had it easily to where she isn't in on the idea, but she's not in charge of like making sure that Mike does a crime, and she doesn't want Mike to die. She doesn't want anything bad to happen to Mike. She's just a messenger to get paid by the aunt to let the aunt know this is what he's doing. He's not doing anything bad. The aunt's like, screw off. I'm done with this. The brother's like, hold on a second. I have an idea to get at Mike. You said he has a job, right? Pizzeria? We can break in, make him, criminal negligence, whatever the thing was that Vanessa said. And we can make him look bad. Trash the place, even steal stuff on the way. You pay me, and you get what you want. How's that sound? And then the aunt's like, you piqued my interest. So that way him and his goons go. They trash the place. I would say... Maxine babysits for one more night. Or we can write it to where she's suspicious, like, where's my brother? Like, we were supposed to be doing, quote, so-and-so, XYZ. Finds out they went to the pizzeria. I don't know, maybe she, like, overheard, or there was, like, a pre-recording of a call or something like that. Yeah, that's difficult. That's writing yourself into a corner. But as a writer, you should do that because it allows you to be more creative with how to come up with a solution. But that's why I say some of the characters are not really good characters if you look at the way they were written. Not that the characters themselves are bad, but the way they involve themselves or incorporated into the story are flawed. Anyways, that's that rant. So yeah, I had a problem with Maxine and her character. On to the actual scenes where they broke in. I love Bonnie's scene when he like steps out of the doorway and he looks around. Like, that was cool. I love that shot. Him standing behind what's his name, Hank or whatever, in the supply closet was a little goofy. And I do agree that some people said that it probably would have been cool to have the dotted eyes there, because now we know that they can have any eyes that they want because they're not being controlled. It's not like they're like mindless robots and there's no spirits in them and they do like actions. And so that's why they have red eyes. Because that was the whole thing before the movie came out, is that they're being controlled. That's why they have red eyes. So there's no soul. So that's why they don't have the dotted eyes. That ended up being kind of not true. The spirits are in there, which means they could have had the white dotted eyes. But whatever. You know what? Whatever. I like that one shot where Chica's passing by the fan. That was cool. Where she's like, we just barely see it. That's good. Good. I like when it's subtle like that. I don't like the cupcake. I think the cupcake had too much of the spotlight. Do it once or twice, but the cupcake does everything for Chica. What the heck is up with this cupcake? Why, like... I get you made a whole puppet, you might as well utilize it, but then utilize everything else. Utilize Chica. Let Chica have her spotlight. I like the scene after the whole cupcake thing. Like, sure, you can have that scene where the cupcake jumps out and eats that guy's face. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. And then I like when Chica, like, is watching it all happen, and then she looks at Hank slowly. That shot is cool. The eye movement and the slow pan, that lighting, that's cool. The eyes work there. The eyes, that's cool. That's cool. I like that. Almost every character in this movie has survival instincts. Hank screaming and running, that's pretty realistic. And goes into the closet, gets killed by Bonnie. Bonnie reveals himself. That's cool. And then the Foxy scene, I kind of like it. I like his leg animation, or his puppeteered leg animation. I don't know if that's CGI or not, because it almost looks a little too smooth, but I can totally see that being puppeteered. I'm sure it's puppeteered. I'm sure it's practical. That was pretty cool. It looks way better than that squishing of the ball. I like him standing there and then running up at you. I don't like that it gets cut off. I think if you're going to have Foxy jump scare, you should follow it up with maybe like a shadow, because there's tons of Foxy shadows. So why not have a shadow just like Freddy that shows him slashing his hook or something? Because that would have made me forgive a lot of the unsatisfying cutoffs. Then what follows after that? Oh, Maxine. Again, I don't feel like it feels like it was earned for her to die. And I mean, even though what I said doesn't really prompt her to die either. I like that she gets lured into the back and Freddy's just standing there. You guys are going to hate me, but I think I would have liked if instead of Freddy just standing there, Freddy maybe was sitting on a workbench pretending to be out of commission. I think that would have been a little bit better, because Freddy just standing there like, that's a bit too unsatisfying, I guess you could say. I don't want to say like dumb. I want to use less words like dumb and stupid. I want to use words like unsatisfying and not as satisfying as I would have liked. I think maybe if they would have changed the lighting so that way the light is just coming from above him, which means you don't really get in a whole lot of light to his face. So his face is really shrouded in shadow and he's directly under a light. I'll probably make like a mock-up of what I'm talking about. If he had that kind of lighting, I think I would have forgave him just standing there on his own a little more. Maxine getting pulled in to be bitten is fine. What I would have changed is not have her whole torso get bitten. First of all, they made it a shadow for a reason. Ain't no way somebody's whole body is fitting in that mouth. The head wouldn't fit in the mouth. The head's not fitting in the mouth. And the jaw certainly doesn't have enough power to bite. But let's give them the benefit of a doubt. What would I have changed? I would have changed that she does still get pulled in by the spirit hand. We still do see a shadow. But instead of it being an entire torso getting pulled up and then getting chomped off, splitting it in half, I think what it would have worked is just pull the head in. Just bite off the head. That I can see fitting into his mouth. The same shot from behind. Have her body fall to its knees and then fall forward. So that way you don't have to see the cutoff of the neck. I mean, if you really wanted to go like rated R, you could have her fall backwards and see that hole and have it all gushing out. But you want to keep it PG-13, have it fall, no head, and then fall forward. Because then it's a bit more plausible. I can only suspend my disbelief so much before I think this is like a cartoon. You know what I mean? A whole torso? Subtlety has a reason for why less is more, right? So, just the head. Chomp. Fall to the knees. Blam. That's what would have made it a little better for me. If you agree, kudos. If you don't agree, kudos. I don't care. if you don't agree, that's fine. That's fine. Next point. What did I forget to talk about? The cameos. The cameos. I think the Markiplier cameo would have been fine. No. Yes? I think I'm happy that he wasn't there, but not because I think he would have ruined it. I just think, like, with that little scene that he had, I don't know. I think I'm going to leave that blank for now. I don't think I have a thought on Markiplier's potential cameo if he was in it, which he's probably going to be in the next one, too, if there's scheduling. MatPat's cameo caught me by surprise. And I almost didn't like it at first when watching, because I was in that mood where I was like, oh my god, of course they called it. Of course he's in the movie. Like, of course. Like, at first I was like that. But after watching it again, I was like, this is actually good. Because if you're going to have a YouTuber cameo in a movie instead of like an actual actor, which I'm glad every other main character is like an actor. Like someone that's just either just coming into the industry, like the kids, or someone that's well known like Josh Hutcherson, I think that's great to have all the main cast be known actors, or you know, and that's their profession, they're actors. Matt Pat, I'm sure he did fine. He played himself. That's the only thing, is that he played himself, which is fine though, because what I like about his cameo, and what I think it should be for every YouTube cameo that may potentially follow after this first one, and if they make a second movie, which they're going to, is that if you're going to do a YouTube cameo, give them a role that's expendable. Give them a role that if you were to remove them from the movie, it wouldn't affect the movie at all. Because I do not want a cameo. I mean, I'm sure with an acting coach, Matt Pat would have been fine in a much bigger role, but to be honest, I don't want that. I'm fine with his expendable role as it was. That if you were to take him out of it, there would be no difference. Some people may say that they want there to be an importance, that it just to have an expendable role, it feels like useless, feels like they would rather they have a purpose. Because it's true, when writing characters, every character is meant to have a purpose, or should have a purpose. They should feel as important as the main character, because that just comes to show that you are capable of writing such complex characters and the way they all interact with each other in a grand story. That shows that you're a great writer if you can do that. But in this case, he's a YouTuber, and he's more of like a spokes kind of like entertainment guy. He's got his own thing. We all know the Matt Pat kind of like mannerism. I think that works perfectly fine as a waiter, just asking, hey, you guys want appetizers? Hey, I got this theory for you. No, it's a food theory. It's just theory though. I think that was fine. I think that was perfectly fine for a little Easter egg, a little cameo. To anyone else, this guy might seem to get a little too much screen time. I think they could have shortened his role a bit down a little bit more, because like my girlfriend said, she didn't really like it, because if one, she doesn't know who Matt Pat is, or at least she doesn't know him to the degree that I do, and I don't know, she felt like not knowing him and watching the scene play out, he just seems kind of out of place, and I agree with that. He does seem out of place. I would have cut down the scene a little bit more so that way he's just like in and out. But I think his role is fine. I think any YouTuber cameo or any cameo of sorts that doesn't involve like an actual well-known actor should be expendable. I think it shouldn't have any lore or story relevance or plot relevance at all, that if you were to remove them from the story, it wouldn't change the thing. I think I like that. All the Employee of the Months, like Daco, Razbowski, 8-Bit Ryan, Baz, those cameos are great. I'm sure there's other ones on the board that I'm not aware of. I do like Corey's cameo. I do and I don't like it. So, just as I explained with the Matt Pat cameo, for a role to be expendable, and if you were to remove them, it wouldn't affect the story at all. The problem with Corey, even though he did a fine job, and the role is okay, and and everything, the scene itself is not good. I feel like they could have spent more time thinking that through. I think what would have been a little bit better, Corey, make his scenes very brief. Make his shots very brief. It's just like, hey, little lady, where would you like to go to? Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. All right, you got it. And then that's it. Don't even put too many shots of him in it, because I want him to be subtle. To focus in and hone in on him and just hold that shot in the passenger seat. It's the same effect as the Matt Pat one, where he feels like out of place with how much like he's there, and how much we're highlighting this individual for someone who doesn't know who he is. But again, this isn't made for any casual viewer. This is made for fans. So there are a lot of people in the FNAF community who are a fan of Corey Kenshin. What if the scene played out the same, but instead of there being that honk in the car, he looking back and being scared by the Golden Freddy, and he's like, I always get the weirdos. Like, that's the one part. I remember what I said. Like, every character seems to have like a reasonable survival instinct and reaction. You know who you're talking to, Corey? Corey Kenshin? You know what his reaction is to anything that's like slightly scary in a horror game? Yeah, he's not there most of the time. He's running for the hills. He's the ankle breaker. He runs. Or he's scrapping. Or he pulls up he starts scrapping.
Come over here and try something. Go ahead and try it. And yes, I carry this around in my book bag. Alright? If I was him, first of all, I wouldn't have been sitting there for no hour. But if I was, for some reason, maybe my leg broke.
Why is he just casually like, hey, might as well get the weirdos. Like, what? I would have liked if, like, Abby jumped in, he checks the mirror, and he looks back, and there's only Abby. And he finds it suspicious, like, huh, it's just a little girl. But he doesn't see Golden Freddy. But Abby can see Golden Freddy. And so Abby, she'll, like, look at him, and when we look back in the seat, Golden Freddy's still there. So that would have, like, given more of, like, oh, he's a hallucination. I would have liked that a bit more, because it makes Corey's instinct to just keep going, or just to drive to the pizzeria, less weird. But then that's weird, because then you have a little girl hopping in a cab to go to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, a place that's abandoned. That's bad. I'm sorry, that's bad writing. And again, this, if we're going back to MatPat, if you take Corey out and all of his shots out, it does actually affect the story, because we need Corey to drive Abby to the pizzeria. I don't know, what could I have changed? How could you still have Corey? I don't know where to put Corey, because other than that scene, I don't know where to put Corey. You could just put him where Markiplier was supposed to go. You could do that. You could put where Markiplier was supposed to go. You can let's think about this for a second. You can replace him. No, because I like every goon that was breaking into the pizzeria. I like them all. But you could technically put them there too. You could put Corey amongst the goons and in charge of I mean, is that a big role though? Because I feel like he's gonna get killed off anyways. And it's not like any of them have backgrounds. They're just there to break. Oh wait, that's not good for. I'm sorry, Corey. I don't want you to be seen as someone that breaks into a place and steals. I'm sorry. I'll take that back. No, Corey's not. Yeah, he's not. Like stealing or breaking in material, anyways. Where does Corey belong? No, I was gonna say maybe as somebody that worked at the ice cream place that Mike was trying to get from. Could put him there as a waiter. Damn. Yeah. Other than that scene, like that's the problem. Like if you take him out. I mean, you could put him in the background as a background character, and you could just watch him, like, I don't know, reading a book, eating at the diner. That's a tough. I don't know where to put, but I'm sure if you're a creative enough writer, you can find a way to sneak in that role and make it very brief, so that way it's as expendable as MatPat's. Because I think that's a great way to include a YouTuber cameo, make them expendable and don't affect the plot at all. Excuse me. How do we get Abby from? I mean, that's still so stupid. Like to lure her to the pizzeria because they want Abby and they want her to be like them. That's bad writing. That's bad writing. To be honest with you, as much as I really like Abby, I think there's too many characters, and I think we should have just focused in on Mike. I mean, I know I really like Mike and Abby's dynamic. I like how much like he starts to realize he cares a lot about Abby and Abby cares a lot about Mike. They have a great sibling relationship, even though they're like not always on the same page. I like that dynamic. Why would the spirits who got stuffed into suits forget that they're stuffed in suits and want to make Abby like them? Like that's where the third act fell apart for me. The third act completely got rushed, fell apart, and I feel like we could have sacrificed that fort scene for maybe more scenes with William Afton. Maybe more scenes with Vanessa, because Vanessa's character sucks. I'm not gonna lie, Vanessa's character sucks. Like her whole inclusion. When I asked my girlfriend about it, like how she felt about Vanessa, she's like, even my dad who watched the movie, he was like, she's like, what is she? What is she supposed to be? There's so much, and the thing is, like, everyone could say, like, oh, it's supposed to be mysterious. You're supposed to not know because it's supposed to be a mystery, and you're supposed to figure it out. I'm sorry, but in a movie sense, that's bad writing. That makes your character look flawed. That makes your character look very bland. But going back to the animatronics, yeah, like, I don't think that was Scott's idea. Or maybe it was, because it's similar to the Silver Eyes. Or is it? Because I know there's a lot of parallels to the Silver Eyes that they included. Like William Afton having an alias and a different job at a mall. Or no, he didn't have a job at a mall. He was a career counselor. Which I think is fine. That's a pretty good like undercover kind of role, and a great way to have Mike interact with him before knowing who he was. I think that's good. That's good. Damn. How do you get Abby? Why do you like? The thing is like, why does Abby need to be there? I think. Damn. I think take away Abby is the focus for the animatronics and focus more on the animatronics want to kill Mike. They want to trap him in a dream or something like that and kill him because William Afton wants to kill him. He hires Mike because he's like, I have a way to kill this guy. Hey, you want a job? He's looking for a job. This guy is making it too easy for me. Hey, Mike, I got a job for you. Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. And then Mike goes, and his plan is to kill him. So then why did it take 5 nights to kill him? Was William Afton just busy? He had other stuff to do, and he had to make sure that he had time on Friday. Yeah, it's Friday. Ah, perfect. Now I can kill that guy finally after having 9-5 and yeah, all this other stuff. Like, the animatronics, if the animatronics are supposed to kill Mike, why didn't they kill Mike? What's taking William so long to kill him if he's supposed to be killed? He already knows who he is. He already knows he wants to kill him. Kill him the first day. Or the first night, I should say. Then Vanessa comes along, and I don't know what her character is supposed to be. Is her character supposed to make sure that the security guard stays, so that way he can kill him by the 5th night? And if that's the case, is she like she has to agree to her father, because she's afraid of him, but she also wants to kind of like betray him, so she'll go at pizzeria while the security guard's there and be like, hey, Mike, you're gonna quit the job. Yep, I need you to quit. Yeah, I know, but you gotta quit. Yeah, I want you to stay alive. Yeah, what? No? I just want you to quit, okay? That shows that she doesn't want anybody to die, but she's obviously under some order. But then she encourages Mike to do his job and do it right. But then she doesn't want him to do the job because then she realizes who he is. She knows him. She knows what happened to his brother, and she knows he has a sister. So now she sees, oh crap, wait, so you're not just any random guy. Huh, you're gonna get killed, and he's gonna kill your sister? Oh no. You need to finish 5 nights at You need to complete 5 nights at Freddy's. You need to survive 5 nights at Freddy's. This is where the final act starts to fall apart, where Vanessa's character sucks. Really sucks. Her motives suck. Her inclusion and relationship to her father suck. It says to Mike, you couldn't just leave it alone, could you? This is perfect. I killed your brother, now I kill you. And you have a sister. I'm gonna kill her too. I'm gonna make her just like them. And she's gonna listen to me. I'm having an aneurysm, I'm sorry. What is the goal here? I feel like they really cut a lot of stuff out at the end. Because there's a lot missing. The relationship, and I've told this to my friends when we were watching the movie, that if they would have added, like, replace that stupid fort scene. I'm sorry, but it's so stupid. That scene is so stupid. It's literally for the teenagers who want to make fan art and comics of the animatronic characters doing goofy stuff and silly oopsie doopsie stuff. They made that there so that way they can enjoy that. So that way they can go, oh, look at Barney's face. He's so cute. Did you see that? He's so cute. I'm sorry. I hate the fort scene. It ate up so much time that could have been put into developing stories between characters that really need it. The fort scene sucks. And I mean, like, it's not like anyone would care if there wasn't a fort scene. If the fort scene wasn't there and was replaced with actual scene development for characters, that way it would be, like, the final act would be a lot better. No one would care. Also, I find it a little hard to believe that, like, when Abby got electrocuted, it was really rushed. She got electrocuted, she just blacked out, woke up, hey there, you had a little accident, it's gonna be okay. I feel like that could have been used to awaken something inside of Mike. I feel like if you would have had the conversation that Mike had with the spirits, where he agreed to give away Abby so that way he can figure out who the murderer was or whatever, like, even though that's already in itself a stupid plot, that they wanted Abby so that way Abby can be like them. So what? So that way they can have another member of the team so that way they don't have to be alone? Like, I don't get it. There's really a lot missing here that's not even just lore relevance or lore mysteries. Like, you have to solve it. It's just bad writing. But that's why I say everything else that doesn't include focusing on the animatronics is good, right? Like, it's really entertaining and like, I can really engage with it. But with the other stuff, I can't. Because it's just a lot of plot holes. There's just a lot of plot holes. I don't get why Mike needs to stay 5 nights and what Vanessa's role is. Vanessa's role sucks. And it's just stupid. And she doesn't work at all. I wish I would have liked to sacrifice the fort scene with a lot of other stuff. Maybe like to show why Vanessa is so obedient to her father because of, like, show scenes of why she's so afraid. Don't just show her, like, trembling. No, I can't go. If I see him, oh, I'm fainting. Like, that sucks. That's bad writing. That's just a badly written character. Because there's no development. That's not a mysterious character with a mysterious backstory. That's just bad writing. Like, whatever her father told her or wants her to do is unclear. Oh my god. Don't even get me started on... He controls them somehow.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
Looking at. Really? You couldn't come up with a reason for why they're being controlled? Maybe, I don't know, if he's an engineer on his own as well, have him, like, a controller that kind of, like, just overrides the paranormal activity. I don't know, right? So it's just, bear with me. Hear me out, right? Suspend your disbelief for a second, since you already had to suspend it for everything else. Like Golden Freddy riding a cab, right? So you can suspend it a bit more. He has a machine or a controller. Maybe the controller is the spring lock suit, and that's why he wears it. And the suit overrides basically the paranormal activity, and they're just straight robots, and they just controlled by him, and they do whatever. They don't have the spirits. And then you could have it to where if they destroy the controller, if they destroy whatever's controlling them, not a drawing, if they destroy and they electrocute, they wet the control, maybe if it's the suit and they make the spring locks go off, the spirits gain control over the suits again, and they attack William Afton. Because the way I see it is you can have it written to where the animatronics are friendly towards Abby, they are friendly towards Vanessa, and they are friendly towards Mike, because they have no reason now to attack them. Then suddenly, there's a change in their behavior, and Abby can sense it. She can see that they're not acting like themselves. They're almost like, there's no sign of the spirits at all. Then, you'll have, like, maybe points where Abby is being lured by spirits, or, like in the background, like, spirits are, like, waving towards, like, Abby, he's controlling us, and this is how he's doing it. You have to stop him, Abby. You have to stop. It's gonna be cliche, I know, but I'd rather have this cliche than what we got. You have to stop him, Abby. Destroy the controller, and set us free. Like that's what we could have had. She tells this to Mike. Now Mike's in on the plan, and then Vanessa, she tries to obey her father, but she realizes what needs to be done, and she helps out Mike, just like she kind of did in the movie, where she decides to help him out in the end. All this stuff can still happen, and all the animatronics can still be evil, but not because the ghosts are stupid, but because there's a controller that's just, I don't know, overriding them. Like, they just can't gain control over the animatronics anymore. And when they destroy the controller, William Afton's like, oh shit, I don't have control over them anymore. And then you can have the spring lock scene happen, you can have all of that happen, but it feels a bit more cohesive and realistic, other than, Abby, show them what really happened that day. How the hell is she supposed to know? She doesn't know, you didn't tell her. How did she know? She didn't know. The spirits didn't know because they're too busy being brainwashed. So they couldn't tell her what happened. Oh, but they do know what happened because Golden Freddy, idiot man or idiot boy, drew a bunny. They know obviously what happened. They know that there was a bunny. They know that they were... Oh shit, my camera just died. Hold on. My camera just flipping died. I've been talking for hours, man. Oh. There we go. There. That's it. There we go. I'm back in action. Supposedly, the kids are brainwashed, and they have no memory of what happened and how they came to be. All they know is what happened to Garrett when they weren't even there? What? That's dumb. Unless Golden Freddy was lying and he actually didn't know what happened to Garrett, but he was able to infiltrate his dream. Let's say there's a lot of weird stuff that happens in the universe. Let's say paranormal activity allows for the spirits to enter dreams and kind of see what happens. So maybe that allowed for Golden Freddy to come up with a plan to lie to Mike and say, hey, you can have this dream all you want. Where first he's like, hey, I know who the guy that killed. Which I think is really stupid. Because why lead with, I know the guy who killed Garrett. And then follow it up with, you can have this dream forever. And Garrett would never go missing. Why would you follow it up with that? Why would that be the second thing that you use to lure in Mike? Because Mike's whole thing is he wants to find the guy who killed him. Then when you switch it up and say you can have this dream forever, like, I know Mike realistically snaps out of it in the end, but he was almost falling for it. And, like, it's not believable. I can't buy it. Because Mike doesn't want that. You followed it up with the guy. Cassidy's obviously lying, right? When you switch it up and you go from I know what you want or I have what you want to I have an alternative. Realistically, if I was Mike, I'd be like, what? No. Nuh-uh. You lied to me. You can have that scene where he's like, oh, I don't agree. No, you lied to me. You don't have to be like, oh, yes, I agree. Wait, I regret it. You don't have to have that. You can just have him, like, get really into the dream, have him be in the dream for so long that he almost gets trapped in the dream. Or that the pills wear off and he wakes up and he's in the trap of the contraption or whatever. I don't... Whatever, man. I just don't like a lot about the writing in the final act. It falls apart a lot in the final act. I thought the whole building falling apart because of the spirits being angry was kind of stupid, but I can forgive it. I can change my opinion on that. What's another thing I wanted to say? Oh, when Vanessa is threatening Mike, like, first off, I remember saying, like, when watching it, she's already suspicious as to why Mike brought Abby. She's at the pizzeria. Mike starts his shift. Abby's there. He's like, Mike, what do they do? What are you doing? What? Why are the spirits? What? And then she switches around.
Oh, they like Abby. Oh, that's so cute. Let's build a fort.
And she helps them build a fort, knowing fully well what they're capable of. Knowing full well that there's a springlock suit in the back. Doesn't mention that at all. But then when Mike finds it, she has to explain that to him. And he's got a girl point, like, why didn't you say that? What if Abby came in here? Why didn't you see that? He's like, I'm not the one who brought her, Mike. What? That's bad dialogue. That's stupid. I would have been fine with that little comment if there were scenes prior to show that Vanessa's mentally unstable like her father. I think I would have found that more believable if it showed that Vanessa is, like, not always right about her morals or what she should do. I think if there was more evidence that she was a little more like her father than we are initially led on to believe, then we can realize, like, oh, that's why she's so suspicious around Mike, is because she did want to be like her father. She does listen to her father, and she was planning on killing Mike. But then she hears about Abby, she hears about the story, she remembers that day, because she was there at the camping site, and then she starts to, like, realize, like, I can't agree to do what my father told me. I would have liked if there was more scenes expressing that. Like, she was going to go through with the plan to make sure Mike gets killed. But over time, she starts to build a bond with Mike, and she realizes that he has a sister named Abby, and she forms a bond with Abby, and so sometimes her morals are not always there. That would have made it more believable. So then when she doesn't bring up the spring locks, it's like, oh, well, no shit why she didn't bring up the spring locks, because that could have been an opportunity to kill Mike. Or, you know, that's just because she's not good. She's not a good person. She's evil like her father, but in a more subtle way, like I'm a trickster kind of way. Like, I'm not gonna tell you everything, and then you end up getting, trash in the end. But because we don't have that, it makes her look like a stupid character. She says, "I'm not the one that brought her, Mike." They come outside. She gets electrocuted, and then she threatens to shoot Mike. If you ever bring Abby here again, I will shoot you. I can't help but laugh at that scene, or that line, every time I hear it. I laughed every time I heard that line, because it's such a stupid, and it makes it comedic. And the reason why it's comedic is because it's irony. Irony is known to be very, like, you can make a lot of comedic moments using irony. But when it's used like that, when I'm supposed to be taking that seriously, I will shoot you if you bring her back. Girl, you're the one that let her play with the animatronics. You agreed to the fort. You didn't tell her about the spring locks. You didn't tell her about the electrifying guitar. That doesn't make any sense to me. Vanessa's character falls flat. I'm sorry. If you like Vanessa, that's fine. Perfectly fine. But me personally, almost every character works besides the spirits, Vanessa, and William. Those characters fall flat at the end. So what do we have? What do you hear? What do you say? What do we got so far? One thing that's always confused me is, like, let's say I'm a murderer and I wear a disguise and I lure people so I can murder them, and I murder them in the suit. but their spirits live on and haunt something, or like a location or a vessel, whatever. They haunt something. Those spirits would be actively like vengeful against the person that killed them, right? But if they don't know what the face looks like, would they want to be vengeful against the suit, the disguise that I'm wearing, or would they want to be vengeful towards the man underneath, me? Would they be vengeful? They would be vengeful for the suit, right? The disguise. Anyone wearing that disguise would set them off, and that they would become like a very angry, vengeful spirit. In no way would they side with the thing that just killed them. Unless I'm a murderer, I wear a disguise, I lure someone, I take off the disguise, and then I kill. Unless they didn't see you take off the disguise, they're going to be vengeful at you and not the suit, not the disguise. Right? That makes sense? That makes sense to me, at least. The spirits should be vengeful and angry towards William Afton, but not the suit. Or they are vengeful towards the suit. I'm moving my desk a lot, I'm sorry. Either way, they don't like that guy, or they're not going to obey the suit. So how has he possibly managed to twist their minds and brainwash them with drawings to convince them that, hey guys, remember me, the guy that killed you in the bunny suit? Listen to me. You obey me. You're loyal to me now. That doesn't work for me. Nope. That's why I think the controller idea makes more sense. Because it doesn't require the loyalty of the spirits. The spirits are constantly vengeful. But when they lose control of what makes them like so dangerous and powerful, well, now the villain is kind of more dangerous and powerful than them. Oops, but then he loses control in a more understandable sense. Batteries died, controller got destroyed, whatever the case is. Animatronics turn on him. They kill him. Because they remember that face, they remember the suit. But let's say they remember the face, but they don't remember the suit. So, let's say he did use the suit to lure them. But he doesn't use the suit when he kills them. He stuffs them, apparently. Which I always thought the puppet stuffed them, but whatever. He stuffs them in the suits. The spirits are angry at the guy, but not the bunny. So let's say he was able to wear the suit, look like the animatronics, and say like, oh yeah, I was also killed by that guy. Were you guys killed by that too? Here, take my hand. I will protect you all, and I will be your caretaker, because I'm just like you. I'm someone in a mascot suit. Listen to me. That makes more sense. I can believe that. I can understand that he manipulated them by putting on the suit, which would prompt him to put on the suit when he gets to the pizzeria, because he's using this disguise, and all of the animatronics are going to listen to him, and they can say, look, intruders, look at these guys. They're not your friends. They want to destroy you. They want to, I don't know, whatever reason he has to convince them, like, hey, these guys, bad guys, kill them right now. And so I can believe that, because they're siding with him because they think he's like them. Let's say then at some point his mask gets taken off. It's revealed who he is. He's the killer. He's the guy that killed all the spirits. The spirits recognize his face. Then they decide to kill him. Then they get angry and realize the betrayal that they've been living with for years. Then they kill him. Not Abby going,
Look, this is the truth.
He killed you.
I would have believed what I just said over that. It's bad writing. And so, you could still have the dumb cupcake lunge and cause the spring locks to go off. That's fine. I don't really care. You get to see like the spring locks, and that's kind of cool and all. And it kind of adds to the damage of Spring Trap. So that's fine and all. And then you can still have him do the mask thing and say, I always come back. Puts it on because he knows. But to be honest with you, the performance in that, kind of shallow. Or at least the delivery. Whatever the director told him to do, Matthew Lillard, I don't like. Really just like, I always come back. I always come back. Like, instead of that, let's say, no. And then they take him, Foxy takes him by the shoulder, grabs a mask. I'll come back. I always come back. I always come back. Like, instead, if they did that, where, like, he's getting dragged by them to be put into a back room so he can, like, perish and die or whatever, alone. It's basically the same thing, but it's a bit more flavorful. It's got a bit more... I'm sorry I've been peeking my mic a lot. I'm probably, like, scaring a lot of people in my house, too. I shouldn't say I would leave that a bit more. I would just like that delivery a bit more. That he's getting attacked and everything, and they start taking him, and then he makes a break for the mask, and he's like, hey, you don't know me. I always come back. I always come back. And then he puts on the mask. It would sound very villainy, but I mean, he's already villainy. So why not make it a more authentic and dramatic line or delivery? But yeah, the ending's fine. Them taking him away. The Balloon Boy Easter egg's fine. The Sparky Easter egg is fine. There's that. I don't mind the what is it, like Isabel, or I forgot what the doll's name is, the other Springlock suit in the back. That's fine being there, that's fine. I would have liked, you can still have like the animatronics try to get her in the suit, but not by the spirits, by William Afton controlling and wanting to like make her into another animatronic to listen to her. I mean, to listen to him. The Shadow Freddy is a little like boring, don't you think? I mean, not like we knew much about Shadow Freddy anyways, but the fact that he's as important as Sparky the dog or any other animatronic that was back there kind of diffuses how elusive Shadow Freddy is, don't you think? And the fact that he's not like this entity, this just maybe an entity made of agony, or just like maybe the soul of like a past, I don't know, like Springlock failure or something like that, to make it as important as Sparky. Damn, that kind of sucks. But oh well. A lot of the shots, I love Foxy. This movie made me a Foxy fan, not gonna lie, which kind of sucks because Foxy's shots were so cool. That one transition where like it's the kid and he's behind the curtain and then he goes back and then Foxy comes out, that's probably the best transition in the movie, and it's really, really cool. And I liked Foxy a lot. And the reason I like Foxy a lot too, I know it's very useful to have the animatronic actors, but I'm not gonna lie when I say I liked Foxy's animatronic a lot more because it was a puppet. It was they had like 7 puppeteers on him at all. For all of his shots, I think, or something like that. But he's a full animatronic because his endoskeleton is exposed, so you can't really make him into a suit. But I liked him the most because he just looks authentic. He moves authentic. He's got that quirky, uncanny movement. The rest of the animatronics, I don't know, they're just too expressive and they're too like obvious, like robot, beep boop, bop bop. Like I think the one shot that makes that most apparent is when that one guy looks through the cameras and Bonnie and Chica are there, and Chica bends over and puts her cupcake in the vent, and they're just staring. I'm not gonna lie, this is a goofy scene. I mean, everyone knows it's goofy. No one's denying that it's goofy. Everyone, I think, likes it because it's goofy. But it was extra goofy the way they were moving. Every time the cupcake is like, they like transition for the cupcake, he's always like flying, or he's like boop, crossfade. Like it got really funny at times. I would have preferred Chica. I mean, I would have preferred he didn't get so much screen time. Like, damn, he got more screen time than William Afton. I think of that as a critique. Some people may not. That's all I have to say about what I would have done differently. But that's why I call it a 5.5. It's because I had fun watching it. There's a lot of cool parts. I'm a Foxy fan after the movie because he's just cool. It's just cool to see like an authentic animatronic on screen all the time. It was really cool to see Foxy, but I can't say the same for the rest. Yeah, that's about it. That's all I have to say. None of you have to agree. None of you have to like agree with anything I said. If you do like the analogy that I said with the Amazing Spider-Man, where you understand the feedback, but it doesn't change that you enjoyed what it had to offer, perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. I respect all of your opinions. I'm obviously a minority here. The majority seems to really like the movie. So that's fine. That's perfectly fine. You guys keep doing that. You guys keep supporting the movie. I bought like my little pizza box right there. See that? I got a pizza box. I didn't get the big box. But you know, I had fun. I had fun looking around for places that sold the box. I had fun just being with friends and family, watching the movie, you know what? It's going to become like a classic. It's part of history now. So thank you guys so much for tuning in if you did stick around this long. Let me know what your thoughts are, if you agree or disagree with anything that I have to say. If you have any counters or maybe anything that could like combat what I have to say, I'll kindly read. Just be respectful to anyone in the comments. If you know, don't be rude to anybody in the comments. And that's all. That's all for now. See you guys later. Make sure to buy the t-shirts. Don't forget about it. Promo code spooky ! See ya.